All right, let's get started. So imagine, or not imagine, you're building in Web3. You've got a smart contract, an agent, maybe an entire protocol. You've got users, you've got traction, and at some point someone asks you, how do you make money? You pause and then answer, we'll figure it out. So many founders that I've met would say that, and almost single one of them would regret it. Because pricing is not a number that you just slap on in the end. It's actually your strategic weapon and competitive wedge that you can leverage from day one. And today I want to talk about monetization and pricing as a special strategy that you should follow even before building your product. Because in AI and honestly in Web3, it's one of the important decisions that you'll make. And unfortunately, most of people are making it wrong. My name is Alice. I'm buildingarrays.org. We provide financial data API for AI agents because AI agents are only as good as the data that they run on. I'm also a co-founder of Web3 Marketing Squad in Lisbon. I'm a member of Myosin Group, and I'm an alumni of Californian Product Management School. For the past few months, I've been obsessively studying how AI companies price, what works, what blows up, what the best pricing models are. And I interviewed more than 25 teams, including Nansen, Messari, Flipside Crypto, to identify the best pricing models and the trends that will shape the pricing strategies for AI companies in the next decade. Here is the stat that will haunt you. Essentially, 20% of features of what you build drives 80% of willingness to pay. And this is not just a quote, it's a 2080 axiom, meaning that the simplest feature, probably the features that you can ship over the weekend, this is exactly what customer is ready to pay for. 80% is just nice to have. And what most of founders do, they ship 20% as MVP for free, training the customers expect zero cost. And then they ship the rest 80%, trying to monetize it, and they can't. That's the most common mistake that we are seeing not only in Web3, but in Web2 as well. And basically, if we look at the most successful examples, Messari did the opposite. They put their core functionality 20% behind the paywall from day one. It was high signal crypto research, the thing that saves a fund manager 5 hours of work. Not basic metrics, not basic dashboards, but the research and structured crypto intelligence. BitAnswer have been paying for high quality inference from day one as well. And there are many more successful companies that are doing this right, but this is a very important thing to pay attention to while you are building your pricing strategy. And every technology wave created its own pricing paradigm shifts. In 2000, Salesforce came in and said, forget infrastructure capex, pay per seat per month. It was revolutionary back then. Then cloud revolution. AWS came along and said, forget licenses, pay for what you use, pay as you go. That was mind-blowing in 2006. And then Uber came along and brought the dynamic pricing model where the supply and demand move together. Ethereum brought to the table programmable money and pay per fee. That was one of the first use cases where we would pay for the usage on the blockchain. And AI is doing something completely different. AI is shifting us from buying access to software to buying delivered work. And according to Stripe research, 56% of AI companies are already running hybrid pricing models. Not pure subscription, not pure usage, but both. And 70% of all software companies are planning to add a usage component to their pricing in the near future. The whole industry is quietly admitting that flat rate pricing is not going to work when your product has real marginal costs and variable value delivery. The market is already moving. And here, let's take a look at the AI pricing landscape map. It's divided into two worlds, as always, Web 2 and Web 3. In Web 2, AI companies are used to monetize usage. They used to ask you to pay for seat, for usage, being just a customer. Whereas in Web3, they are making you a stakeholder. They monetize participation. In Web3, we have token gated access, a very popular model where you buy a token, you use credits for something that you also own. Decentralized AI networks such as ASI Alliance from SingularityNet, on-chain agents, OLAS network, outcome performance networks like Alora, Bitensor. And that is the most useful framework you'll hear today. It's called 2x2, Autonomy Attribution Matrix, where we have two axes, attribution axis and autonomy axis. To identify your product's level on autonomy axis, you need to answer the question, how much autonomous can your agent run without a human in the loop? Does it still need a human, or can human assist this product? To identify your attribution axis, you need to answer the question, how much can you measure the business impact directly? Can you point to a metric and ask and say, this moved because of us? So if we look at the projects that belong to low autonomy and low attribution, these are mostly Copilot tools. Think of Slack, Notion. In Web3, it's DAO governance tools, portfolio trackers. They still need humans that do the work, and attribution is really diffuse. It's really hard to measure the value that Slack delivered to a business. If we look at the bottom right, where we have high attribution but low autonomy, here we are talking about measurable assistants such as GitHub Copilot, Cursor, Flipside, Nansen. They usually charge you per seat, subscription model, and usage pricing. And I want to dwell on the Nansen's pricing model because it has three angles, and it's the most optimal model in Web3 that I've ever met. Basically, they charge you per API call, and they also have subscription models. They have two tiers, free tier and pro tier. And recently, they also launched a trading platform directly in their product, allowing you to trade. And based on your subscription, they charge you 0.10% for a trading fee, or 0.25% if you're a free or a pro user. And for agents, they also followed a separate pricing strategy, implementing X402 and allowing agents to pay in USDC on Base and Solana. So I would say if you're building in Web3 and AI, considering and thinking about how agents will interact and purchase your product is one of the most important things today, because agents will be akin to humans and they will be as important as humans as your buyers in the next decade at least. And if we look at the top left quadrant where we have the background infrastructure, these are autonomous background tools that usually run on the background. They do work without humans, but the value is still diffuse. It's AKH network, SingularityNet. In Web2, it's Vertex AI. These are mostly infrastructure tools. And this is the holy grail, outcome engines, where we pay based on performance, based on the outcome. The most successful, the most popular example here is Intercom Fin AI. It's the agent that gets paid only if this resolves a ticket without involving a human. It charges you 99 cents per ticket resolved. Bitensor pays only for high quality inference. Alora also pays for accurate prediction. This is outcome performance pricing model, and this is where all of the products, most of the products should be leaning into. And according to Stripe, today only 5% of companies are sitting in that top right quadrant, and in 3 years, it's gonna reach up to 30%. So there are 4 failure modes in pricing. Why great projects with amazing core functionality still keep leaving money on the table? Failure mode 1, there is no value unit, no give and get. Your pricing is a monthly fee, it's credit or a token with vague utility. The customer can't connect what they pay to what they get. How to fix that? Find your value metric. Is it a ticket resolved? Is it alpha generated? Is it a task completed? Is it a vulnerability that you caught with your product? And price against that. Failure mode 2, the implementation tax. This is a non-obvious failure. Basically, your customer has to work a lot before starting to interact with your product. They have to integrate, they have to get onboarded, they pay in resources and time even before your product works. And this is where the churn happens. So how to fix this one? You need to prioritize time to first value metric. Show to your customer what your agent will do in 30 days, in 2 weeks, what will be the exact metric that will move their business. And in Web3, it happens even more often because we all know that the UX tax is really brutal. And if your pricing model adds another layer of complexity on top of wallet integration, gas fees, etc., this is just a point where you really lose your customer. And failure mode 3, the trust gap. Customers don't trust inherently that your AI product will deliver, especially in Web3, where we have been burned by protocols that promised outcomes and delivered nothing. So the temptation to give a free trial, free integration is real, but resisted. And we'll come back to this in the GTM section. Failure mode 4, unit economic whiplash, when you price your product based on how much your compute costs will be. And this is what happens. When you scale, your costs balloon and then your margins collapse. For example, for decentralized compute networks like Genzyne or Prime Intellect Protocol, the costs are not AI training costs are not linear. This is why when you scale and when you grow and when your costs also grow, your margins and your pricing model becomes unsustainable. And also for trading agents, for example, trading agents integrate data APIs from different data vendors. The more they do trade, the more costs are. So you need to track your revenue and track your revenue on a task level from day one. And one more failure mode here that is worth naming, especially relevant both for Web 2 and Web 3 actually. According to Stripe, companies running just pure subscription models seeing bad actors signing up using virtual identities to gamify access tiers to get enterprise features for free or on a cheap plan. And in Web3, it's cyber attacks. We've seen a lot of airdrop hunters that are creating thousands, millions of wallets just to get more money. So consider adding usage or outcome component to your subscription model if you're running a subscription pricing model. And if we look at the trends reshaping AI pricing landscape, first of all, the rise of outcome-based pricing. According to Gartner, as I already mentioned, fewer than 5% of companies are using outcome-based model today. It's going to skyrocket to 30%. And trend number 2, pricing models as competitive modes. Netflix actually didn't kill Blockbuster by providing better movies, and Salesforce didn't win their competitors by providing better features. Also, Misari didn't win because they were providing better raw data. All of them created innovative pricing models, and they used it and leveraged it as a competitive wedge. Trend number 3, AI agents negotiating with AI agents. The pricing models native to that world are not seats, not annual subscriptions. They are pay-per-outcome, machine-negotiated, settle on-chain. Being agent-ready in pricing is your home turf today. And you should make your product agent-ready from the ground up. X402 is building the payment trail exactly for this. With X402, we don't need to wait for 30 days for ACH. We don't need an account manager. Agents can pay freely in USDC on Base and Solana. As I mentioned earlier, for example, Nansen protocol already integrated X402. Today we have more than 600 million processed in payments and X402 protocol. And moving on to trend number 4, revenue durability over revenue growth. Fast annual recurring revenue, protocol TVL, is not the most important metric that you should track. We know that in bull markets, the protocol revenue skyrockets. In bear markets, it drops. We need to pay attention to user retention, to protocol revenue, VC, your business revenue, VC token price. Not just token price, not just TVL, not just ARR. And here are the golden rules for go-to-market strategy. Rule number 1, do willingness research before you build. Take 20 or 30 customers and ask them 3 simple questions. What price would you consider acceptable for my product? What price would you consider expensive but worth it? And with which price would you walk away entirely? Run this across 20, 30 ideal customer profiles. Those people should be your ideal customer profiles, people that are ready to pay. And then come up with a data-driven decision on your pricing model. Number 2, charge for proof of concept, charge for pilots, charge for MVP, even nominally, because people that are paying show up differently. They provide you the honest feedback, they have skin in the game. And in this way, you prove that your pilot delivers the business value while also training customers to actually expect to pay for your product. Number 3, beautiful pricing. Try to connect your pricing to the value that customer will get. For example, we all know Whisper. Whisper has their main marketing message saying that it saves you 28 hours of work per week by using their tool. Or superhuman AI. They landed with $30 per month, saying that it's $1 per day to save your time. Come up with a very simple and beautiful pricing story that will hit your customer just in your heart, in their heart. Rule number 5, define your charging model before you price. $49 or $99? That is the wrong question. What's the token utility? Also wrong question. The right question will be, how are we charging per seat, per query, per alpha generated, per prediction correct, performance fee? Ask all of those questions before you even build, and then the model comes first and then the pricing second. Rule number 6, build toward the top right quadrant from day one. Flipside is on this journey from humans writing queries toward AI agents that autonomously surface the right insight at the right time. Miss Sari is moving from research that humans read toward research that feeds AI agent context directly. Build the roadmap toward that top right quadrant. And number 7, be a profitable growth architect, not a disruptor. The disruptor chases the market share at all costs. In Web3, it's airdrop everything, TVL at all costs playbook. And it builds communities, but it destroys your economics. Usually, we give away premium features for free tokens and wonder why there is no revenue in the end. We should always balance both, balance market share and wallet share, data access and data monetization, and win both dimensions simultaneously, not sequentially. And here is the 90-day monetization sprint to identify your best pricing model. It's 90 days, 4 phases, and if you execute it, you come up the other side with a pricing model validated by real customers, real money, and real data. Not guesswork, evidence. So in the first 2 weeks, this will be discovery and validation. Before you set a single price, you need to understand what people will actually pay for. That means sitting down with at least 10 prospects and asking the questions that I mentioned previously. What price they would consider acceptable, unacceptable, and expensive but worth it. Then, we're running out of time. Then paid pilots. launch a paid pilot with 3 customers and make a use case that you would leverage in your sales deck, on your landing page. Experiment a lot before you establish your pricing model, and come into commercial launch, switch to hybrid model. Sub-average outcome, publish ROI case study from initial paid proof of concept. And I just want to say that the future of AI pricing is on-chain, because in Web3 we have programmable money, we have instant settlement with X402, and we are definitely building this future. I believe that Web3 will provide AI agents with transparency, verifiability, and yeah, we definitely have a competitive wedge here as opposed to Web2. And let me leave you with this. I want to just mention that pricing is not a spreadsheet exercise. It's not a white paper that you write and forget forever. It's a strategic decision that you make. It's as important as your product. It's as important as your team. And you need to identify your quadrant, your archetype, and build toward outcome-based pricing. Even if this is just a marketing messaging, do it. Connect the value that you provide to what your customer wants to get, and you'll kill it. Thank you. If you want to get this presentation, just shoot me a message.